But our next speaker has almost 20 years of experience on banking digitalization across several countries, managing business development, digital transformation, innovation, and customer experience for global operations. He's the head of digital channels for Central and Eastern Europe Retail Division at Unicredit. Please welcome to the stage, Pierre Yves Guegan.
Thank you, Bragi. Hello, everybody. Look, I'm very happy to be here today because we started our journey with Meniga almost 1 year ago. And if 1 year ago I was told that I would be on the stage to explain what we are doing in terms of user experience in Unicredit and what we're doing with Meniga, maybe I would have not believed in it because it's a long time ago, but it's anyway a very short moment to develop everything that we did. So if we zoom on the customer experience, we know today that the world is changing. The banks and the financial services are changing as well. We saw it this morning, a lot of stories. We have much more regulation as well, which is good. That's our perspective from banking industry. And we have more and more new players who are bringing new ideas, who are challenging us, who are tickling us permanently. But on the other hand, it's a great opportunity for us to move as a bank. And yes, there is a big storm arriving. But I believe, as a good sailor, that every storm can be weathered. And luckily, the banks are here, and they are becoming the actors of this transformation. We are not just passive. And I believe, like we're saying this morning, that banks are not going to disappear. We still need the banks. The only way is who is going to stay relevant on the market in the coming years, and who is going to act and to do something. So we're already working in Unicredit. We know that we have a lot of ideas. I'm not sure if they're all very good, but for all the threats that we are imagining, we are working already a lot. And what I would like to say, maybe I'm going a bit fast here, we're spending a lot of money. In our Transform 2019 plan, we're spending for the 3 years until 2019, 2.5 billion euro for our transformation. It's a lot of money. A big part of it goes to regulatory items, a little bit less than 1 billion, but we still have more than 1 billion euro to invest in changing our bank. So the willingness is here. We are doing it. And for instance, we were the first to have in Germany some blockchain payment, trans-border payment. We had last month recently, the validation of a mortgage contract through blockchain. We are innovating a lot with instant payments, so we are pushing a lot. But this is not enough. This is about the technology. We saw that the business is around technology, but if we want to move further, we need to think about the customers, and we need to think about the user experience. And we see that the leaders, in fact, they're going the extra mile in terms of user experience. They push this additional layer on top of the technology, because the technology itself is not enough. This, we have understood it in Unicredit, and I see 3 levels where we can act to interact with our customers. First of all, it's really about the way we speak with them. How do we come to the customers? Which products and services we are bringing to them? And then, of course, obviously, there is the way of working. If we stay like we are doing today, with waterfall approach, we'll have difficulties because we are big monster. It's important for the regulators, it's important for the security of the customers, the data, but we need to improve the way we are working. I'm going to develop a little bit these elements with you. Simple, fast, and secure. This is, for me, the new paradigm for the banks. So far, we were leading the banking business, we were driving it, we were organizing it. Now, things are moving much more faster. We should not forget that the generation that is now making business with us more and more is about this Y generation. But behind you have the Z generation, which is already here. In 3 years' time, they will already represent almost 30% of the workforce in the companies, and thus they are becoming banking customers. So we need to think about them, and in Unicredit we believe that clearly banking remains a business which is people-oriented. So I want to zoom on this generation to show you that, in fact, there are a lot of things that we are doing. I cannot explain everything. But when it comes to the new generation, the Z generation, we want to anticipate their needs. We don't want to be followers like we've been doing in the last years, because the pace is so fast, the time that the bank could wake up, we already lose some momentum. So now we are trying to catch up. Now that we're catching up a lot of elements of this user experience, we would like to go the extra mile. So we want to listen to our customers, and we want to bring them quickly on board before we develop solutions, before they're already consuming hard. So we will organize next week in Milano a DAISY Gen Z workshop. We'll gather students in Italy from different universities during 2 days, and we'll ask them this simple question: what are you expecting from the banks tomorrow? What kind of services and products you would like to have? How would you interact with your bank? And we will make them produce some ideas, some stories, and they can, like this, help us to imagine what will be the future of the bank in the coming 2-3 years. We are not thinking about what will happen in 10 years. In 10 years, everything will be even more different. But already we want to anticipate these needs. So all these stories that will be brought by our students, we will test all of them in our regions, in different countries. We'll see what is the perception of other countries and other customers from the same generation. And of course, we'll have a winner, and we will see. We hope that from this expertise that we will get from these customers, we'll be able to be one step ahead and to bring new customer experience, new product to our customers. So we don't want to be passive, and that's something which is fundamental. And when we speak about listening to our customers, there is one area that I want to develop a little bit. It's about testing what we are doing with real customers. We do it in a traditional way. We are conducting interviews, we gather some customers in front of our new mobile app, we show them the mobile app, we ask them to interact with it, we observe them, we ask questions. That's great, we learn a lot from this. But for us, it's not enough. We are speaking a lot about the technology, and there are new technologies that are here to help us on top of this. So what we are now more than experimenting but using, we are using some neuroscience to evaluate the perception of our customers when they are interacting with us. So one simple example, when we develop our new features in our mobile app, we gather some customers, we make this traditional listening, questioning, observation, but then we equip them with some connected glasses, helmets, and we're analyzing what's happening behind the scene. Because very often customers are telling us, no, that's fine. This functionality is very easy to find, very easy to interact with. I understand it and I like it. And when we check the results of the analysis behind, what do we see? We see that there is a strong brain load at the first interaction with this new feature, with this screen. So customers try probably to please us a little bit, or they don't want to present themselves. And at the end, we see that, no, there is an issue, because if it's bringing this strong workload from the brain, then clearly the customer will probably not come back next time, because that's the first contact, the first moment we present a new feature to a customer that will decide about his engagement, about his willingness to come again and to bank with us. So that's why these neuroscience tools are for us very useful, and now they are fully part of our testing method before going live, before bringing new solutions to the customers. And of course, we know that banking services are already entering everywhere in our daily life. We said that, to repeat and quote what was said this morning a couple of times, banks are not necessary while banking is necessary, and that's why it's still here. So we need and try to see how we can enter differently in the life of our customers, because they're interacting less with the branch. And for a bank like us, which is a commercial bank, we have customers who are very young, we have customers who are much more older, and we have customers in between, and this is changing permanently. So it's very complex to interact with all of them. We cannot arrive with a one-app-fits-all with a fantastic design for people 20 years old, and assuming that people who are 40 will like it. Some will like to go to the branch. So we need to see how we can go the extra mile. And this is a big part of our agenda. For instance, we launched last month in Austria Alexa, voice assistant to bank with a customer, meaning that now your bank is everywhere at home. You just need to move the speaker from the living room to the kitchen, and your bank is potentially here. So these are the kind of new things that we are bringing on the table to be closer to our customers. And of course, I'm accelerating, I'm passing about all the things that you know about agile methodology, about hackathons, because we are doing that kind of thing as well to try to bring the innovation. But I believe it's important to zoom a little bit on the partnership. We cannot do everything by our own. We have big teams, we have big IT teams, we have a lot of money that we can invest, but we will never be experts in all those fields, all those domains which are now appearing on the market and that the new players are bringing. So it's important to partner with different experts to bring them on board. And this brings me to our partnership with Meniga that I was mentioning at the beginning, which started from the business aspect almost 1 year ago. So we communicated before the summer that we signed with Meniga this long-term partnership, and we are very excited and happy about it, because it's a bit the symbiosis about what I've explained to you before. At the end, we want to speak differently to our customers. That's what impressed us when we met Meniga the first times, and each time we're interacting with them. We should stop speaking to the customers like bankers. And I have a very good example, but I'm sure our colleagues from Meniga are using this trick with all of us. We propose them to check our mobile app and our PFM solution that we have running in one of our countries. And then they check the transaction, they click on the transaction, you know, that's their domain of predilection. And they raise a point, what is this code with the 6-7 digits that you have in this transaction? What does it mean? That's a merchant code. Yeah, but for a customer, what does it mean? Yeah, you're right. It's important for us as bankers, when customers is calling the call center, when customer is coming to the branch, we want to know what happened with that transaction, where it was, but customers, they don't care about that. And that was for us a kind of revelation. We understood that we need to think differently, and partnering with Meniga is helping us. From the day one, when we started our design workshop in February in Serbia, where we have decided to launch our pilot, we started everything from scratch about what customers are expecting, what are the pain points, when it comes to presenting to them financial services, what are they expecting. And then we built our prototype that we started to test. And based on that prototype, we rebuilt our new app that will be live in the coming 2 months in Serbia. So that's why I don't show too much today, because the teams are working hard to be ready. But I strongly believe in this cooperation, because this is really helping us to take some distance, to step back a little bit and to think about the customer first, and not to think like to the customer like a banker, but really to think about what matters for them. So I'm just on time to leave a little bit of time for the questions. I see that they are falling. So I take them in order, and I'm discovering them, where you had an advantage on me because you could read them already. Isn't generation topic overhyped? Gen Y, yes, and Gen Z look the same, and so on. Most probably. But we want to test it by our own. We want to listen to them and to see what they want to bring when they want to interact with the bank. Because if you just check the studies, you see that the Z generation is taking more importance about their impact on the planet, their relation with their employer. Is it true? And how is it going to impact financial services tomorrow? Personally, I do not have any clues about that. I don't know. So the best way is to already ask them and to see, because for the previous generations, we did not do that job. We just followed what others were doing. When all banks and want to be banks have nice and tidy apps on top of structured data, what's then the differentiator? I think it's a very good question. I did not have time to develop because the time is very limited, but I think it comes again to the user experience. Because today, banks are fighting with one stupid thing, which is just to pile up new functionalities. And there is always a wrong question, a wrong request that I'm receiving from the countries. Hey, I want this functionality. I want absolutely an FC payment because my competitors have it on the market, and if I don't have it, I cannot compete. I think this is a wrong approach. That's definitely not the way to try to grow your mobile app and to compete, because today we'll have a little bit more functionalities than our competitors. Next week, one competitor will have one more functionality than us, and so on. And it's a never-ending story, and it's a bank story. It's not a customer story. So I think it's really the way you speak to the customer. And if you remember the landing page, the home page that I put on the screen, we want to change the tone of the voice, how we speak to the customer. It's, hey, we have a new app. This is not the way we're today speaking to the customers. We're speaking like bankers with suits and so on. Even if now we have sneakers, we're still bankers in our mind. So this takes time.
I like your sneakers.
One more?
One more.
How is Meniga helping you to be PSD2 ready? There are things that we are doing further. They're helping us at the first stage about the data and the know-how of the customer, of the transactions, how we can learn from the customer. And you know that this is going to help us to personalize our relation with the customer. And with PSD2, we'll know even more from our customers, and then we'll be able to personalize even more the way we interact with customers to push the right information, services, eventually products to monetize, because we are not here just for charity, definitely. But it doesn't mean that each time we interact with the customer, we need to sell something. It can just be an information, and we expect that Meniga will help us with this data enrichment and this data processing.
Very good. Thank you very much, Pierre.
You're welcome. Thank you.